Hello and welcome back to Himatsubushi. Another late night for me, and maybe for you, depending on the time you watch this. But I do upload these at noon, so if you're on the dot, then it won't be too late. Well, if you live in Canada. Anyways, we're back for some more, and last session was definitely a treat. We got some really wholesome stuff with Rika, which was very, very, very cool. I enjoyed that a lot. The whole tour thing was fun. And then we got the ending with Spooky Rika. Unluckily, I have, if you don't know by now, or you missed whatever from the ending, if you're skipping around, I have read Umineko, so I do know that voice is Burn Castles. Which is kind of unfortunate again. It is kind of a spoiler, and when I heard that voice, it did just come up with a bunch of theories, which I probably should have came up with, to be honest, if I did have that knowledge. But I guess I kind of tuned it out. But hearing that voice made me tune in. So we'll just put that under the theory sheet under Umineko theories, because it's a bit of a cheat. But hey, what can you do? Can't change the past, and I'm sure there are merits. There are negatives of reading Higurashi before Umineko too, so what's done is done. But it is still pretty creepy, and it just because I have theories doesn't mean I know what exactly that signifies. So we're this session we're probably gonna finish up the chapter since it's almost the end of the day. Get some hints. That's why I left some time for some hints. Let me just breeze that. I mean, you can't tell, but I just did something. And let's get into this. So this is after spooky stuff with Rika. She like fell on her face and went back to normal, I think. And I think they're gonna treat us to food. And then we'll probably leave, maybe meet Oishi to report, get some hints, and call it a day. I'm actually, geez, both this night and last night been recording later than I usually do, so I'm kind of tired, but I'll wake up in like a bit after talking. Can't skimp out on Umineko. I'm almost on that sweet spot where I'm enough ahead where I don't have to record every day. Because sometimes I'm lacking. Anyways, this is too long of an intro. Let's start reading. I move my torso. The old lady urged me to wash my hands before the snack. Without any resistance, I lined up beside Rita-chan at the wash station. Splish, splash. I stared at Rita-chan, intent on washing her hands. Properly, like she had probably learned at school. Yeah. Put some space in between that. A curious but sort of embarrassed meep. You were pretty spooky, Rika.
間違いって。僕のお手手の洗い方です。
It's interesting about the spooky mode, because I do know it has Burn Castle's voice, but the fact that she doesn't remember doing it is interesting. I mean, it's hard. Actually, it's hard to say, because I was gonna say she was pretty like self-aware in the normal arts, but I did just remember right now that she is a little kid, so she could have changed throughout the years or something.
金シールを4個しかもらったことないです。
4 gold stickers for washing
僕はお
hands.
手手を洗うのがきっと下手なのですよ。
I mean, if it's 4 out of 5, that's pretty good.
間違ってなんかないよ。それだけしっかり洗えてれば十分だよ。
Remember to sing happy birthday. That's how much you should be washing your hands for, I think.
それだけではダメなのですよ、赤坂。ちゃんとたわしを使って爪の間の赤も落とさないと金シールはもらえないのです。
that's a little extra, but maybe that's more normal. I don't know. I guess when you're at home, maybe.
うん。リカちゃんは真面目で偉いな。
ニパー、赤坂に褒められましたのです。
See, it feels like she's being. Actually, never mind, never mind. Let's just move on for a bit. No matter how you looked at it, it was Rika-chan. There's no trace of that girl from before. Exactly what was that sinister girl?
リカちゃん、さっきのあれはどういう意味だい？さっきリカちゃんは私に東京へ帰れってそう言っただろ。
言いましたのですか？
I was at a loss for words. She didn't remember what the girl just now had said. Like I would ever believe something as occult as that could happen. Like I would ever believe that Rika-chan could be possessed by that strange girl and say those creepy things.
リカちゃんが確かにそう言ったよ。
Me.
Can't be mad at the meeps. Her expression told me that, despite me saying so, she had no idea. She wasn't playing dumb. She actually didn't know. Exactly. What was that just now? Just as Rika-chan had, I let a look of confusion creep across my face. The two of us, both looking like we had no idea what was going on, must have certainly been a humorous sight to behold. While partaking of tea and snacks, I was shown a propaganda film shot by the Defense Alliance that highlighted their resistance efforts. Older folks talked passionately on how long and grueling the fight against the dam was, but they fell on deaf ears. I was transfixed by Rika-chan, who had heard these stories countless times before and was nodding off. Eventually, Rika-chan noticed I was staring at her and smiled as she rubbed her eyes. That smile was Rika-chan's, after all. There was no hint of that sinister shadow. After that, my unreasonable fear of Rika-chan lessened with the passing of time, but I could by no means forget what had happened. It eventually grew dark. The mayor said that they had prepared dinner, but I said I would come again tomorrow and took my leave. I had to return to the hotel and file my regular report with the section chief.
そうですか。ではまた明日もぜひいらっしゃい。
Oops.
お電話さくれればすぐに迎えを出しますんでね。
ご好意感謝します。ぜひ明日も遊びに来ようと思います。
ええ、さしてあげてくださいな。
Yeah, maybe we'll see some new characters too. And we still need to meet the informant. We haven't seen it probably won't see it this chapter.
あんたリカちゃまに大層気に入られたみたいだしね。
赤坂は明日も来ますですか？明日は5次元で終わりですから3時くらいに来てくれると嬉しいのですよ。
Please come again. That pure smile urged me to do so. There wasn't a trace of that evil aura. Depending on what happened next, all that might end up as nothing other than my hallucination. I'm just trying to take a quick pause for a second. I'll be back, but yeah. Alright, we're back. Think about it logically. If the daughter of the Furude household, one of the three families, had taken a liking to me, then this was a strong foothold for my investigation from here on out. It was like a free ticket for a reason to visit Hinamizawa. If only I could treat that little incident as a figment of my imagination, then having this girl, who was the embodiment of my ideal daughter, grow so attached to me, wasn't bad either. I had successfully dove into the belly of the Onidafuchi Defense Alliance, and had the mayor, as well as other important members of the alliance, welcome me with open arms. This was a great turn of events. However, I still felt uneasy. Getting back to the hotel, I forced down and almost painfully told beer until I could clear my mind. Why are we still on this background scene then? Not that I mind. The shot from that incomprehensibly strange incident continued to torment me. That's the chapter, isn't it? Damn, we were pretty close. Only 10 minutes. Well, if the hints are another 20 minutes like last time, then we can probably call it a day. Start fresh and have a nice 20-minute, no, like we usually clear chapters every 2 videos instead of like this awkward 3-video chapter thing. But we'll see. Maybe not. Yo, I see a little... One of them. Probably Mion or... Probably Shion? I don't know. Yo, it's a spoiler. Alright, let's see these. I've heard these can get kind of cryptic, so... Particularly in this arc. Where is this? The sound of the car grew closer, followed by the sound of it braking as the engine cut out. At that moment, his up until now lackadaisical... You know what? I know I've googled this word like 3 times till someone pointed it out, so I'm not going to do it again, but I've definitely done this word before. Lackadaisical. Footsteps grew decisive as the man in the room dashed up to the wall beside the window and carefully peered outside. It was his comrade's car. Even so, he didn't relax his guard. Eventually, the sound of footsteps approached the door. Thump, 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 thump. It was the passcode. So this is probably the following the kidnappers. After the locks were undone and the door opened, a man appeared, his arms laden with swollen plastic grocery bags. The bags in his hands had 7 Smart written on them, with bread and milk cartons able to be glimpsed within. The contents of those bags were spread out over a sheet on the floor. He rattled the portable stove as he struggled to get it to light. Seeing that, the man who went to buy supplies let out a deep sigh, and with a backwards glance at that sight, began to walk to the corner of the room. The kidnapped boy was sprawled out on a sheet that was spread out on the floor. Of course, the man didn't assume the kid was able to hear that question. That was because the boy's ears were plugged with his eyes and ears thoroughly covered by black tape. That's brutal. That sounds actually horrible. Blocking both his sight and his hearing. And his mouth, apparently. Jesus. Also, his mouth was stained with a thin, twisted-up towel, yeah. Because of that, the boy was unable to close his mouth properly, his cheeks sticky with his own saliva. Of course, that wasn't the only reason. Both his arms were tied tightly behind his back with a leather belt.
命の心配はない。お前のじいさんがしぶり寄ったん。耳たぶの一つも切り落とさなきゃならんかったんけ。やらんくて済んで助かりよんよ。
Please don't.
本家はこうと決めたら鬼やんね。どんな残酷なこと命令するかも想像つかん。
See, when they say main family, I automatically think Sonozaki, but it doesn't have to be. It could be a bait. Pretty sure that's. I mean, I don't know.
その本家が小僧に傷一つつけるな言うてんから、とにかく順調なんだろうな。
Let's be honest, it probably is the Sonozakis.
大臣はダム計画を撤回で水面下工作。ひなみ沢ダム計画は無期凍結へ。小僧の解放はいつ頃になるんだろうな。ふぅ、早く一服したいもんだぜ。
本家が決着のタイミング測ってるらしい。
Okay, obviously it's the Sonozakis. Okay, I don't know what I'm
近いう
thinking.
ちやんな。
Doesn't really make sense for anyone else.
よかったな小僧。もうじき解放されるぞ。
The men didn't know if their voices were heard by the boy. For him, there was nothing he could do but continue to sleep to escape his harsh reality.
それよん、ガスをどうするんね。ラーメン食えんよ。
Hey, you can. I don't know about you guys, but I've had like just the noodles from Mr. Noodles back when I was a kid. Though I never really liked it. I knew people who did, but I was like, why not just cook it?
ガス切れたなら言うてえなもう。
That being said, I would almost never willingly eat Mr. Noodles today. That's like such garbage. Instant soup. There's so many better brands. Alright, so following the storyline of the kidnapped kid. So we'll probably get one of those every chapter. And this is going to be the cryptic one, right? Along with that other one we had. I forgot what it was called. This is kind of a bop. I like the song. The weather forecast had predicted that it wouldn't rain at all this entire week. It's not that I hate sunny days or anything. When every day is the same unchanging, sunny weather, however, anybody would long for a rain cloud or two. If it's simply clear skies for a week, a month, a year, anybody would long for a rain cloud or two. The weather specialist said that they had carefully scrutinized a large quantity of past data, so it wouldn't be likely for the forecast to be wrong. I knew as much. But even then, there were occasionally a day where I was hoping that it would be wrong, as I stared up into the clear blue sky. Was I being mischievous in hoping so? I waited and waited, feeling almost... Hello, train. Glad to make your appearance in about like 20 minutes in the video. You're a little late, I was getting worried. I waited and waited, feeling almost suffocated by the boring blue sky, undisturbed by a single cloud. If you die from that suffocating feeling, then the population of the Earth probably wouldn't have increased to this point. In other words, the only person who was being suffocated by this was me. And so, I welcomed the summer evenings, where not even the weather forecast could predict a sudden shower. If I were to explain it like this, would you understand a bit more how I feel? Yo, we're in Teichi's house, okay. Let's say that tonight's dinner was going to be curry rice. But when you're called down to the dinner table, what was waiting for you was instead an eggplant and a bell pepper stir fry. This was just on your mother's whim, by the way. I would be delighted by such whimsy. I don't really like eggplants or bell peppers, but still, I would be delighted. That's kind of funny, we're talking about eggplants in Yuminiki. Which I guess hasn't come out yet, so I guess spoiler. If you haven't watched The Wheel of Horror or follow any of that. The fact that the pre-established routine of curry rice had been broken would be amusing. If tonight was repeated 100 times, and 100 times you had to eat curry rice, yet just for this one night that was changed to an eggplant and a bell pepper stir fry, there's no way you couldn't enjoy that chance happening. I hate pre-established routines. I really hate when all things are decided beforehand. I have no love for boredom. I always get my hopes up that something today will be different from yesterday, no matter how trivial. It's been decided that this entire week starting today was going to be clear skies. The weather forecast decided upon it, so the god of weather must feel obliged to do so. But who's to say that a rain cloud might not just show up one day on a whim? It's something that nobody can say for sure, but because that thought remains in this world, a creature such as myself can continue to live without being suffocated. Tomorrow will probably be a hot and clear day. However, I'm the only one that knows that predetermined fate, even with but a slim 1% chance, sometimes changes. Hoping for that 1%, I hung upside down weather charms on my sunlit eaves troughs. In the end, I spend my days waiting for those unexpected things in life to happen. I pondered why I was hoping for it. Why was I hoping for a rain cloud? The answer was simple. I've had my fill of clear skies. Then why was I hoping for a rain cloud? The answer was simple. The fact that it was going to be sunny tomorrow was boring. So why was I hoping for a rain cloud? In the end, it doesn't really matter whether it rains or shines tomorrow. Basically, it was just that the rain would water my heart, which has withered from boredom. That's why rather than a TV drama where there's plot already been decided, I prefer to look up at the sky. Interesting. Okay, so again, I do have knowledge of Umineko, so I can pretty much guess what that was about. But let's say even if I didn't have that, I would have guessed either it was Rika or Keiichi talking about that. I mean, I was pretty sure it was Rika until they showed Keiichi's house, and I was like, it could be Keiichi. But yeah. So I'm guessing that also means the other cryptic thing was probably from Rika's perspective too. But this is interesting because I think the fact that, okay, I know it's Rika, but I think the interesting part is, when is this thought process happening in a specific year? Because I want to believe that this is in current Hinamizawa, not the past where this is taking place. But that doesn't really make sense, since all the other hints look to be taking place in this arc. I'm only saying that I think it's in the past arcs because of from the Rika we've seen, despite her being spooky mode, she doesn't have that that general feeling of slyness. Is it slyness? Self-aware slyness. She's like more, she feels more pure. She definitely does have an idea of what's going on, but it's not as strong. And these thoughts, I can much rather see the older Rika monologuing rather than this younger version. Who just did food for thought. As for what that means, I mean, it's hard to talk about, because I understand, but well, I think I understand. Maybe I don't understand. We'll leave it for later though. Yo, I'm hyped for this. Irie looks the same, but I mean, I'm just guessing that's Mion from the hairstyle. Barley tea and black milk tea? Is that what it said? I already messed up.
だいぶ血圧も良くなってきましたよ。そのお年でこれだけの回復力があるのは、いやいや、感服するばかりです。
Oops.
お嬢さんなら100でも200でも元気にお過ごしになれますね。
Or you. Okay. Okay, yeah. Obviously, it's not gonna be the little kid. I was really confused for a second from the thumbnail. The young doctor in his medical coat said that as he undid the blood pressure cuff from the arm of an old woman tucked away in her futon.
入江の先生はほんにお上手で、わしんたいな死に損ないは早うしなんと若者の邪魔になっていけんね。
So that's Oryu. I mean, it made sense. Wow, I just choked up there. But I was going to say that it made sense since we've seen Kimiyoshi, we might as well see Oryu. And maybe we'll see whoever Furude, the priest, looks like. That's interesting. She doesn't have green hair, but I guess that's because she's old. I mean, you can kind of, it seems a little, I can imagine it being a very gray green if you think about it. Ho ho ho. The old lady Oryu laughed faintly with a broad smile on her face. Then, turning towards the sliding door, she called out in a strange voice.
しみこさん、かたえこさんおらんね。入江先生に麦茶でも入れてやりゃな。
Guessing those are like maids or assistants, because I don't recognize those names. The sound of rushed footsteps in the hallway drew closer until finally the door slid smoothly open. What it revealed was a young girl. It looked like the old lady's granddaughter.
シミコさんは今日はもう上がっちゃったよ。
It's Mion.
何かよ。
She is. Oh my god. Wait, we need a full shot. She's adorable. Like Rita was adorable too, but she didn't change too much, right? She just looked tiny with a big head, but this is a big change from Mion. That's adorable. Her head does still kind of look big, but that's just a trait, I guess, of the art style. I like it though. It's cute. Her head kind of looks really defined, the shape too. But look at that casual clothing. It's too adorable. If I'm not lazy, that's thumbnail worthy.
いや、入江の先生に麦茶を入れたってんな。
Wait, I need to confirm something. Because I was about to make a hot take without a... But I should confirm it first. Okay, hot take. Barley tea's kind of bad. I said it. Actually, I don't hate it as much, but when I went to Japan with my cousins last summer, they really didn't like barley tea. Or at least two of them didn't. I drank it before, but I think I would always choose normal green tea over barley. If you don't know, barley is like roasted green tea, so it has like this weird, to me it tastes like burnt corn. It's like, I guess maybe this isn't as bad much as a hot take. I think it's alright, but some people, at least some people I know, really don't like it. My dad doesn't like it either. But I always see it mentioned, and especially since I'm watching a lot more Japanese television, I see barley tea a lot. Just my take. It's like, in the tea scale from 1 to 10, I would give it a 4, 5 on a good day. There you go, hot takes.
うん、了解。抹茶も飲む？紅茶の方がいい？砂糖もミルクもたっぷり？
わしが加減するから入れんでええんね。砂糖壺とミルクも一緒に持ってきてんな。
I much prefer, wait, what tea is she drinking? I much like black tea over barley, but I haven't drank black tea in so long. I drank it a lot as a kid.
Hi, hi.
Yo, the wink. The girl named Mion, after giving a rather uninterested response to her taskmaster, of a grandmother returned to the hallway.
先生の麦茶は来客用のガラスジャーに入れるんよ。ちゃんとお座布団もつけてな。水滴もちゃんと拭き取っとくんね。
わかってるって。うっさいな。
Fussy pants. A tired voice wafted a reply from down the hallway. The apathetic tone of the voice was far from unusual. The old lady let a wire smile slip across her face as she chided the girl.
しょうがないやっちゃな。叱られるうちが離んねえ、なんたく。
お嬢さん、まあ、そこまでは言わなくても、ミオンちゃんも若いなりに頑張ってますから。
あれの母親もな、しょうがないやっちゃったんね。よう似とる。
で、その母親の母親もまたそっくりなんじゃないですか？
The old lady burst out laughing. Her expression showed she hadn't taken the comment the wrong way.
入江先生、申し訳ない。症状を開けてもらえんけんね。風が涼しそうだわ。
The cool chirping of the Higurashi had at some point started leaking through the gap in the doorway. Irie stood up and opened the door a bit. A refreshing breeze pushed the stale air that had built up in the room.
日中はだいぶ暑くなったように思うんですが、まだ朝夕は涼しいですね。昨べは少し肌寒いくらいでした。
そんな朝夕もまたひなみ沢のいいところな。
Irie replied with a smile as he returned to sit on the cushion beside the old lady, and then the two of them, for a little while, soaked in the voices of the Higurashi.
あしゃ100まで生きにせ。もうしばらくは死ねんよ。
I was about to say end hint.
ダムの剣きっちり蹴りつけるまでは勘の蓋かって収まらんわ。
国が一度決めたことを撤回するのはなかなか難しいでしょうね。
国のやることはな、いつの世もイシュース回すみたいなもんね。そんでもだいぶ重いやっちゃ。
石臼ですか？
Sorry, let me reread that.
知らんねか、イシュース。
Oh, sorry, I thought you said milestone, but millstone, right? Okay, yeah, I know what a millstone is. Irie quickly affirmed that, of course, he knew what the old lady was talking about. For he knew full well that Oreo didn't like having her stories interrupted.
国のイシュースはな、なんでもゴリゴリ引いちまう。大したもんよ。でもな、簡単には回らない。重いイシュースなんねんな。たくさんの人間がせーのってやってようやくじりじりと動き出す。そんなイシュースなんよ。
Irie pursed his lips, listening quietly to what she was saying. It's a Mion. A wild Mion. Eventually, Mion returned with some tea laid out on a tray. Seeing that Uryu was talking and in a good mood, she quietly knelt down and laid out the sets for the barley and black tea, carefully not to interrupt.
だから一度回り始めたら簡単には止められんね。回し始める一番初めが一番重い。それが嫌だからみんな手を休めんとゴリゴリ回し続けるんね。
摩擦係数の話でしょ。確かにバッチャの話、理屈はあるね。
ちゅうことはだ。何かの間違いで突然イシュースが止まっちまったら、また回すにはどえらい力がかかる。
確かに一度中断した計画をもう一度動かすのに必要なエネルギーはかなりのものでしょうね。
簡単には止められんイシュースだけどな。一度止めれば二度とは回らん。
Well said.
そういうイシュースよ。
I like that speech. Some points to you or you, though I don't think we're gonna see you too much this. We might.
イシウスを止める
We might
いい
see
手
her.
があればいいんですがね。
When Irie responded with that, Miyano and the old lady suddenly sunk into silence. Irie, instinctively thinking he had said something rude, searched in a small panic for the words to correct himself. But that silence wasn't the result of rude words. What crept across Miyano and the old lady's faces were contemptuous smiles. That's actually a shot too. That's a little more street spooky than the cute one we had. The atmosphere surrounding Irie suddenly froze, leaving him flabbergasted. Thinking that the scornful smile creeping across both of their faces was the result of some mistake of his, he could only grow afraid. It hadn't been that long at all since he was enveloped by silence. However, unable to stand it, Irie could only let out a weak laugh. Irie's laugh eventually spread to Mion's and the old lady. Not knowing exactly what they were laughing at, their laughter left a lingering chill. The only ones not laughing were the Higurashi, who continued their simple and unchanging chorus. That was a really good hint. I think I actually got a lot of that from that. Let me go here. A little quieter. Of course, train. But we are gonna wrap it up, but I want to make a few statements about that. After the train passes, thank you, Mr. Train. It's still going, but I kind of lost my train of thought. Basically, when I made my Watanashi theory stuff, I did have, that was back in the day when I was having those friendly arguments with that commenter. I made the argument that it wouldn't be impossible for Mion as a child to kill. And then he made, well, she's just a child. It doesn't matter if she's in a Yakuza family. But then I responded with, well, maybe, but I mean, no. He said, yeah, well, I don't think the grandmother would let her child kill no matter what the situation. But then I was like, yeah, it's a Yakuza family though, and we've seen they torture and gut people for fun, so it's not too hard. And this kind of supports that claim. With even as a little child, it looks like Mion's pretty tuned in to the ways of her, or at least what her grandmother's doing in the master scheme of things. So it seems like the grandmother's probably like giving Mion a lot of information and teaching her stuff at this very young age, which is again expected, but it's kind of nice to confirm that. I was trying to say that the grandmother at first didn't seem as I didn't get that much of a sly, creepy vibe than I did from Kimiyoshi for some reason. I don't know why. He just gave me this suspicious vibe, but at the end, she was kind of creepy. So this was interesting. These hints took like 20 minutes. So it's like the last. It's like the episode a bit ago where we did a 2020 split. So hopefully this should be the end of it, and we'll go back to the 2-2 split of finishing a chapter in 2 sessions, as long as there are breakpoints. But those seem the breakpoints seem kind of either non-existent. I don't think there was a breakpoint in this session, so we'll see. It's kind of a short no, it turned into 40 minutes, so it's actually not bad. So thank you for watching. That's, again, still looking forward to seeing the informants. We saw Mini Mion, so I guess Shion is still on. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to say. If you're still here. I was thinking, no, never mind. It's almost irrelevant after that last speech from the grandmother, where it basically said that no, it doesn't. Okay, basically my thought is that what if it is the Sonozaki family that kidnapped him, but what if it isn't under the grandmother and Mion at the village? What if it's their other side run by more the business side with wherever Shion's with the father and mother, right? Because they're supposed to be the more business oriented outside the city, more yakuza type than but I had some better points for that, but I guess it still could work. I don't know. I'm confused. Let me. It's just a thought. I can't really explain. I do have an explanation, but it doesn't sound so good. So I'll get back to you on that by next session. So hopefully you enjoyed. Of course, come back in 2 days, because this is currently being posted every other day, rotating with our secondary game, currently Yuminiki. Except for Sundays. Sundays are sort of a break day, because if I do it Sundays, then it gets kind of uneven, right? So we want to keep it a clean schedule. But thanks for watching. Hopefully you come back. Bye.